Alright, so today we're taking a look at a CPU from 2010 for shits and giggles. This is an AMD Athlon 2 X2 B26 AM2 Plus CPU. It was found in budget small form factor HP computers. It's clocked at 3.2 gigahertz and it lacks any L3 cache and has no SSE4 or AVX instructions. Therefore, we won't be able to test something like Time Spy, for instance. We're doing all our testing on an ASUS Sabertooth 990FX motherboard with 8 gigs of DDR3 at 1866 megahertz with an RX580 8GB GPU, so all the stress will be on the CPU. For stock, we left all the BIOS settings at default, and then we tweaked the CPU, North Bridge, and the HT and the RAM settings for the best results. We were able to overclock it to a very stable 4.2 gigahertz via front side bus. So let's check out the results.
Jonah, I'm out. Be careful, the way into the site is full of traps.
Trinity's not done with it yet.
They're protecting something.
6 weeks, and still no solid leads on who's leading the local Trinity cell. But I talked to some people in town, and they're excited. There's a VIP coming to the Day of the Dead. Name's Dominguez. We should look into it.
You're good. Good. You're good. And stop. Sound.
Ready for more? Ready for more? Ready for more? You bet. Let's hit it.
Nomad, secure the building. I'm right behind you. Watch out! Come out and fight!
Okay, so some thoughts here. First of all, it overclocked very well to 4.2 gigahertz. You can see it's at the voltage is well within reason. To go to 4.3 took considerably more voltage, and having to overclock it via the front side bus. The front side bus just got too high and it was very unstable. We did try at 4.2. We tried different settings for the CPU North Bridge and the HT, and I tried tweaking those up and down, but we found around 2100 was the best results for that. If you go higher, you end up with some more instability, but you also end up with lower averages and lower maximum frames per second, but your minimum frames per second did go up, so there was a little benefit to that. But the instability, we had to keep it around 2100 for that. And lowering the RAM timings definitely helped too. But as far as use, I would say it's it's 2 cores. It's probably good for if you just go on the internet or you want to play older games on it. Crysis, F.E.A.R, Doom 3, stuff like that. It'd probably be fine. Anything newer, we ran into issues with the Tomb Raider games. Rise of the Tomb Raider, loading times were pretty long, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, it was ridiculously long. The CPU would sit at 100% and it would sit there, and I left it sit for half an hour and it still hadn't loaded the benchmark. So I didn't run the benchmarks for Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I was able to finally get it to load enough to do a gameplay on there at 4.2 gigahertz. At 3.2 it just wasn't going to happen, and it was even worse at DX12. Rise of the Tomb Raider ran better on DX12 than DX11. Load times were still long, but once you got in, it was actually on 4.2. It was actually playable. Of course, it's a little. The frames per second are better and frame times are better without the screen capture software going. But overall, I'm going to say it's it's an outdated CPU. It doesn't have enough cores, and interestingly enough, though, temperatures even at 4.3 when we were running unstable, we were able to get it validated on CPU-Z, but temperatures never went high. And as soon as I don't think the temperature got above 53 Celsius when we were pushing it the hardest. But at 4.3, unfortunately, we couldn't get any benchmarks to run stable. It just kept crashing. All we could do was validate it on CPU-Z. So that is what it is. It's an old dual core, but it was fun to play around with.